Hello everyone and welcome to Sewing Saturdays. My name is Gina and today I'm going to be showing how to make this cute little bag for your little ballerina in your life. I think kids like sometimes dress up, and I think this is a really cute bag that they can use to dress up. So the way it goes is it has a tie here, and we can take this out and she can actually tie it around her waist and still has her little purse to walk around. So I'm going to start with a list of materials, how to make this bag. This is not a complicated bag, but I am going to change a couple things because this was my first one that I did, and it was a few issues that I had while I was making it. Wasn't, so I will be changing a couple things on it. So as you see, the one that I have here, this belt here, I did it with 3 inches wide. The next one that I'm doing, actually, I'm not going to be doing with snaps. I'm going to do it with buttons. So I'm going to be doing some buttonholes. And also this one I did, the strap like that. But the next one that I'm going to do, I'm actually going to add 2 straps, one on this side and one on this side. Also here, I actually didn't use zipper tabs on this one here. I just did the zipper from end to end. But my next one, I'm actually going to be using zipper tabs. So this part here is not as folded here. Okay? So, but let's get started with the list of the materials, and so we can start sewing. So we're going to start with the straps. I already prepared my straps. And what I cut here was 16 by 2.5 strips. So one long strip of 2.5, you can take 2 straps out. What you're going to do is you're going to sew it, put right sides together, sew it, flip it to the right side. Then you're going to cut a piece of Peltex, and since it's the 16, I want you to cut 14, and the size of the Peltex has to fit in there. So if you have 2.5 and 2.5 and you're using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, you're going to lose a 1/2 inch. So if you cut this as 1 inch, it's going to be kind of tough to fit it through. So you're going to cut about 1/8 of an inch shorter than 1/2 inch. So just kind of shave it a little bit. This is not exactly a 1/2 inch. It's about 0.75, I would say. All right? So then that will fit a lot easier. So when you fit that in, what I want you to do, I wanted you to leave an inch empty to each side. See, my Peltex finishes there and there. Okay, you see there? About 1 inch of fabric to each side with no Peltex. That's why we cut a 14. Then what you're going to do, you're going to join those 2 ends together, and you're going to do that. Because what I want is, I want this to fold like this, and when I sew this, when I actually attach this to my bag, like that, I'm not going to see any raw edges here. Okay? So you're going to do that in all your sides. Okay, so our straps are done. We're going to put it here. Then we're going to go to the belt. The belt that I did on mine, this one here, as I said, was 3 inches. And this one here, what I did, I cut 4 inches because I was planning to do buttonholes, and I already went ahead and did that. But for you to do that, you're going to have your strip of 4 inches. Okay, your strip of 4 inches, you're going to fold it in half. You're going to sew it. And on the edges here, as you see, I have that shape there. What you're going to do is you're going to just do a line from there to there. Oh, my pen. Use a ruler and draw a line like that. So you're going to be sewing like that. On the other side, you do the same thing, just like that. And so we need to leave an opening somewhere to turn it, right? So what I did is I left my opening, so I started sewing here, I went this way, and then I went this way. So when I got to about here, I stopped, back stitch, and then I started back here, and then I went all the way around. So this little piece from here to here, it's my opening. So I can do the shapes in both sides, okay? So, but don't forget, the strip that we cut is the full length of the fabric, was like a 44-inch strip. And so I sew it, turn it inside out, and I did a top stitch there and a top stitch there. Okay? This part here, okay, I need to show you that we're going to be needing some crochet thread. This, I don't remember what size is that, but it's very thick. It's normally meant to do crochet, and you're going to put in one of these needles that have a really big hole, so because otherwise you wouldn't be able to do that. And we need to do this part here that we have here. Okay, so I'm going to show you quickly how to do that. So you have your belt that you sew, you turn it inside out, you already top stitch, and this is like this. Okay, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna fold this in the middle. Okay, and since our I didn't give you the measurements yet for the body of the bag, but our body of the bag is 8.5 inches. So we're gonna go about, I would say about 7.5 inches, more or less, to each side of the middle. Okay, 7.5 and 7.5, that would be 15. So what I have here is 15 right in the middle, 7.5 from each side. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna get a ruler, and from your seam allowance here you're gonna go a 1/2 inch. Okay, 1/2 inch up this way, and you're gonna draw a line, and that line that you're gonna draw, right, the line that you're gonna draw here is where you're gonna make this type of stitching to attach your tool. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to do this little part. So I had my strip sewed, I have my line here 1/2 inch up from my sewing line. So I have this like that. How am I going to do that? I'm going to do a knot like that, and I'm going to try to catch just one fabric. So I don't want to go through the back. I just want to cut the top layer, so I don't want to see any in the back. Okay, so I'm going to go like that. So my threads are going that direction. So then I'm going to pull my thread back. I'm going to do a loop like that, and I'm going to go back where I had my thread. See that? And my needle is going to come up, and I'm going to make sure that the loop stays to the bottom. Okay, like that, to create that loop. Okay, of course we have here the part from the knot, so you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to go like this, create the loop, go in the middle of this one that you already have right at the edge there. You're going to go down, you're going to come through, I would say about 1/4 inch or so, and again the loop stays under the needle, and then go like that and creates that. See, one more time, turn around. I don't have a long thread here. You're gonna go through there, through the loop, leave the thread down where the needle has to go over that to create that loop. Okay, and you're gonna do that. There's about 15 inches of it. That's to go around the bag. Then what I did here, I found my middle. So I have my middle here, and I mark my middle, and I did a buttonhole there, right in the middle of my fabric. Then in the end also, about 1/2 inch from my 7.5, I did another one. Then in here in the middle, I also fold this middle here to this middle here to find my middle, like that, and that middle I did another buttonhole. Okay, so you're gonna divide, so you're gonna end up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttonholes. Okay, and the part here that you have all that done is about 15 inches. Okay, just double check. Yeah, about 15 inches. All right, so, and that's done. So then for the body of our bag, what we're gonna need here, I have here for the top part, I have 4 pieces. I have 4 pieces, and the measurements for this are, let's see, 8.5 by 5, 8.5 by 5, and 2 linings and 2 outside fabrics. And I also, what I did here, I interfaced it with SF101. All the pieces I interfaced. Okay, it's a Pilon product, just in case you wonder. Then we're gonna need a zipper, and like I mentioned, on this one I was gonna do zipper tabs. I already attached one here, but I'm gonna show you how to do the other one. And my zipper, since I have 8.5, and I want about a half inch in each side, so I'm gonna cut an inch shorter. So I'm gonna cut a 7.5 zipper. And to do the tabs, you're gonna get a 2-inch piece of fabric. You're gonna go here, join it here. You're gonna sew 1/4 inch in there, like that. And then you're gonna turn this to this side. Let's see if you can see it. Turn it to that side, then you're gonna fold that in, all the way in, and then fold it again. And you're gonna do a top stitch here, right there. Okay, and that's how you do your little tab. So our zipper is done. For the main body of our for the bottom part here of our bag, the pieces that we need here is 9 inches by 15. So I have 9 inches this way and 15 this way, and I cut 4 pieces, 2 for the lining and 2 for my outside fabric. And just in case you wonder which fabric I'm using this fabric is by Camelot, and it's called I Believe in Unicorns. Okay, just in case you're wondering. Okay, let's get started with the sewing part. So I'm gonna start with the zipper. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew my tabs. As soon as I'm done my tab, I'm just gonna, for now, just put a pin here, because when I go to the machine, I'll sew this on. And okay, that's my tab. I want you to go put these together, and I need you to find the middle of your zipper. I don't want you to cut it. Zippers are done like knits, and if you cut it, sometimes the zipper will fray. Okay, so don't cut it, just mark it with a pen or a pin, your middle. And then these here, we're gonna start our main fabric. If you're working with something directional, make sure it's side up. So we're gonna mark middle here. Gonna go here and mark the middle. This one here, in this case, you could cut it, but I'm just gonna go put a pin. All right, and then we're gonna do like we normally do, middle of the zipper with middle there. So what we're leaving here is 1/2 inch to each side for our seam allowance. Okay, and you're gonna sew that on, and then you're gonna get a piece of lining and you're gonna put on top and sew that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. So it's like that, and you're gonna go ahead and do the other side of the zipper. So I attach my zipper, that's what it looks like, and I also already top stitch. I mean, you can use the same thread, same color as your fabric, so it will match better. I did it on white. There's a lot of white here, so it doesn't make a huge difference. So we need now to work on the body. So this is going to be my main fabric. So I'm going to go ahead, and I need to gather this fabric. Okay, so I'm going to take this to the machine, and again, I'm going to pay attention, but this doesn't have really a direction. So I'm going to do these, all 4 of them, the same thing. Going to the sewing machine, I'm going to increase my stitch length all the way up, so I end up with a really long stitch. So I'm going to be sewing 1 here and 1 right after, like 2 seams in each fabric, and I'm gonna leave tails because we need to do gather. I suggest you use a really good polyester thread that's kind of strong, so when you pull it to do the gathering, they don't fall apart. Okay, so you're gonna do 2 seams about 1/2 inch, about 1/4 inch from each other, 1 close to the top and another 1 right after, to this part, and these 2 linings, all the same thing, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I did my gathering, my basting stitch here. So now I'm going to pull my threads. So but what I did is I need to find the middle, so I went like that and I mark a little middle there. And I'm also going to go here and mark my middle. This is my outside. Go ahead and mark the middle. In this case we can kind of trim a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and put my middle there because I want my fabrics to be centered to the middle. Then I'm going to put a pin here. So now I'm going to go here and I'm using one of my outside fabrics, okay, to my outside lining. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to get the 2 top threads. As I mentioned, you leave a tail, and we're going to gather this to about the middle. Then we're going to do the same to the other side. My middle. I think I'm gonna go like that until I have my fabrics exactly the same size. Okay, so if I need help I can always, then I'm gonna spread that gathering. If you need to pull a little bit more, you pull and you spread until you have the edge of your fabric exactly the same. Okay, and because you're using 2 threads, it's a little easier to make sure they're even. So then you're gonna go here, you're gonna put a pin. Okay, I'm gonna go to this side and do the same thing. Put some pins, you're ready to sew there, and I would be sewing right where my gathering is. Okay, so do that to that side, then we're going to do the same to this side. And that's done, and we do the same to the lining. Okay, so you're gonna even all your gathering out, and you're gonna go ahead and sew all these pieces. Okay, I'll be right back. So I sew my fabric, and what I did is I folded to this side like this, and I did a top stitch. So on all the pieces I did a top stitch. So now it's cut all those threads, whatever you have sitting around. Want to clean it up, and we're gonna close our bag. All right. Okay. So trim. Don't forget to trim everything though. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go here. We're gonna match. See, we're gonna fold this here like that. We're actually gonna fold it to the lining. We're gonna match our purple fabric like that, and you know you have about 1/2 inch to sew. So we're gonna match that purple like that, put it like this, and you're gonna bring that purple and match it also, so it goes around like that. If you have threads, please cut them. I'm always in a time crunch, so sometimes I try to cut it every time you sew it so you don't end up with threads everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this side, do the same thing. We're gonna match our purple right there, pin, okay, match those. I'm gonna match this down, all the way down. Same thing here. So this is like really a big makeup bag. just have gathering. So we're gonna sew this all the way around. The only thing is we're gonna leave an opening here in the bottom, and also make sure that your zipper is open, okay? Because we're gonna need to turn our bag inside out. If the zipper is closed, you can't. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm just gonna open my zipper, and I'm gonna be sewing starting here. Leave about 2 inches here in the bottom. Go this way, up, all the way that way, this way, this way. So we're gonna sew this all the way around. We'll be right back. Sew all the way around. Now we need to do corners. From your seam allowance, okay, from your seam allowance, we're gonna do 1.5, 1.5 in and 1.5 up. 1.5, 1.5, and 1.5. Gonna draw a square, okay? And we're gonna cut it, and we're gonna do that to all 4 sides of our bag. I'm just gonna use this one as a guide, but you can draw them all to be precise. What I'm doing is I'm matching my seam allowance. I'm just cutting around. So these right across. So nest them, one to one side, one to the other. All 4, and sew. Okay, the corners are done. Now we need to turn this to the right side. So we're gonna go, of course, trim all the threads. Anything you have there that needs to be trimmed, trim it. Of course, you're gonna sew your lining. Don't forget to close your lining. And your little bag is done. Okay, it looks like that. Looks like a little doll dress, almost. So now we need to attach the straps. I already explained how to do it. So I'm gonna go about here. Let's see. I would say about 1 inch from the outside, from the corner here. You're gonna go in, and about 2 inches down. And we're gonna sew these. You can take this to the machine and sew it, or I'm just going to touch rivets on mine, so I'm going to leave it that way. If you're sewing it on a sewing machine, probably 2 inches would be much too down, so I would go maybe about 1.5 inches, because it will be easier for you to sew, to put this in a sewing machine and sew, because you'll sew it here and here. So just put it like that in the machine, do a seam there and a seam there to secure it in place. And again, same thing here to this side, about 1 inch in. Make sure they're even. Of course, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna measure everything, make sure it's even. So we'll go 1.5 inches down, 1 inch in, and I'm gonna put the strap there, and I'm gonna do to all sides. So right now I'm just attaching it for now, because I just want to explain how to do the belt, how to attach your pieces for your belt. And and our bag will be done. So this one we're going to do it like this, so with the two handles. So the belt, I had already explained how to do that, and also I did tell you how to do that. If you don't want to do buttonholes, you can do snaps. I did snaps here. You have to attach the snaps to the bag and to this part here. So now I have this here, that's tulle. And this rule that I have here, it's 6 by 20 yards. It's 6 inches by 20 yards. Of course, this is most difficult to open. Okay. Oh. There we go. So we need to cut pieces. You can cut different sizes, but what I have here, I have about 20 inches. Okay, that's what I did on the pink. So you're gonna go here and you're gonna cut 20-inch pieces, and this takes almost the whole thing, the whole roll. You might want to do them smaller if you want. They don't have to be that long, they can be shorter, definitely. So you're gonna keep cutting those the same size, and I'm just gonna show you how to attach them. Just gonna get a couple, show you. Okay, so you're gonna cut this whole roll. I'm just gonna show you a couple, and then I'm gonna do everything off camera. Also, you're gonna get some buttons. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the middle like this. I know this is my middle, and my middle is gonna go on one side where I have that buttonhole, and I'm gonna get some buttonholes, some buttons, and I'm just gonna attach to this here. This is the ones that I'm gonna be sewing here, so they will come through my buttonholes. Okay, but I'm gonna do that off camera. I'm sure you know how to put buttons. I'm just gonna show you how to add the tulle. So you're gonna get a crochet hook, and you're gonna get a piece of the tulle. You're gonna fold it in half, and you're gonna go from the bottom inside of one of the loops, and you're gonna pull this through. Let's see. Twist it a little bit if you want to. Make sure it's right in the middle. Okay, and you're gonna make it, it's gonna come like that, like a loop. Okay. You're gonna go ahead and even it out. Make sure they're even like that. Then you're gonna go here and you're gonna pull through the loop. Then you're gonna go ahead and pull, and it's gonna give you that little thing like that. And get another one, go to the next one, same thing. Okay, even it out. You don't have to do every single one that you have here. You can do one, skip a couple, and then if you have extra of this, because sometimes just in case you run out of tulle, so you can skip a couple. You go one, then I could skip the second one and go my third one, or you know, and then if I see I have enough tulle, then I can keep going. I can add more back to the middle, the ones that I skip. Alright, and this is how it's gonna be. So I'm gonna open my buttonholes, sew my buttons so they can come through there. I'm also gonna add a little, I saw this little tag the other day when I went to a store that says stay magical, and I figure would kind of fit kind of the unicorn theme. That's what it looks like. I'm probably gonna touch that there. And also I got this little unicorn for the little zipper pull. I think will be really cute. Okay, and her bag is done. I hope that you like this tutorial. We'll see you next Saturday, and happy sewing, everyone.